False alarms, they were up quite a bit. 48 total, 44 commercial, and 4 of them were residential. And I don't know what caused the spike, but it's typically employee error. I have 4 legislative requests. The first one is a request to appropriate from within the general fund $1,500, and that $1,500 would be used to conduct one police and fire medical exam and one psychological exam for an anticipated police officer position. We've turned into the mayor a succession plan for when I leave, and in a nutshell, it entails, if the mayor's not described this to you, in essence, it entails giving a test later this year for a police officer and having that police officer hired, trained, and on his or her own before my departure next spring. And the other exam noted here is for a psychological only, and that's for a current, well, we have several openings on the reserve, but we have a candidate that we've kind of taken under our wing for the past 2 or 3 years. She started out as a college intern, and I know the mayor's met her and can corroborate that she has been quite a find for us. She helped us write our end of year report. Last year she's done a lot of research for us, and she's also done volunteer work helping the records clerk with anything from filing to even more challenging tasks. To give you a little background on her, she is from Slovakia and immigrated to the United States a few years ago, and she's now a U.S. citizen, and she just completed the Ohio Peace Officers Training Academy. And obviously I'd love to put her on as a reserve with the Heath Police Department. So 500 of that 1,500 would be for her required.
She is temporarily with us now.
Well, she's with us as a volunteer, but she's now completed her Peace Officers Training Academy, and so this is something we've talked to her about for a couple of years because it's been a goal of hers, and so.
Multilingual, bilingual?
Yes. Speaks Slovakian, I can tell you that much.
How about English?
Yes, quite well. Probably better than you and I.
That would be the second language I'd be really
Yeah.
concerned about.
No, she'd be quite an asset to have.
She looking for a full-time job anytime soon?
I don't think she's interested in patrol work or municipal police work. She's still fine-tuning her educational plans, and she's just too darn smart to be a municipal officer. If she was going law enforcement, I'd say federal. She's got too much on the ball. I said that tongue in cheek. That was tongue in cheek. We're all smart, or at least think we are.
2 points higher. 2 points higher, and you could have been a firefighter.
You are not letting that one go.
Yeah, I actually was going to, but
Oh, come on. All eyes were on
He
you.
was napping. My second request is to appropriate $1,825 from within capital improvements to purchase an electronic door access lock system for the rear door, or what we typically call the employee door. And the reason is not to have some fancy new gadget or because we're lazy. That door breaks on an almost consistent basis. And as you might guess, it's not cheap to have that replaced and or worked on. It usually goes not much more than a year without needing a total replacement. And I'm looking, oh, here it is. We looked at previous bills for a moss holder and determined which lock that door is according to their coding or whatever. But this is 2 years. That's how much this, and we spent over $1,000 in 2 years just on that one door. And the nice thing about this system, it's only one door, but we can build upon it, and eventually all our access would be using the same system, and it can be tied into our network, and we can identify who's coming and going and what time and so on and so forth. So it's a bit of a tracking system as well.
Didn't we talk about that door before?
I've talked about it a lot of times. It breaks all the time.
I mean, hadn't we talked about doing this before?
Yes, we've talked about it, but
As far as
You just never brought it.
well,
Brought it, yeah, and we've talked about it.
it came to a head in a sense that it broke a week ago, and we called moss holders. Well, guess what? They took vacation last week, the whole shop. So it takes you about 5 minutes to get in. You have to wiggle your key and get it just right. And some of the officers' keys won't work at all, and they have to come around to the front side to get in. So I see it as an investment myself.
Tony, what are you gonna do with it? You gonna go?
It's an
digital?
electronic, and then you buy sufficient fobs so that each employee has their own fob with its own radio frequency, and you swipe it in front of it, and it unlocks
Like this
the
kind
door.
of fob, or different type?
Something like that. I didn't see them.
Tell,
Yeah,
does
it's
it
probably something like that.
identify?
Yeah,
that's what it
out?
Yeah, it will.
And
Yes.
when?
Yeah.
Ooh, I have a new one.
Yeah. If you tie into your network.
You're special.
So each one's coded to
Right.
that identical
That's the
fob.
third floor
Fob
fob.
to identify.
Right. And if you lose one, you can take it out of the computer, and it renders it unusable.
Okay.
Thank you.
Seems crazy to keep throwing money at that problem. Might as well get it fixed.
Third request, keeping in mind that in this year's budget, we did not budget any money whatsoever for training. But I have a couple of schools here that they're important, so my request is to appropriate, and this is a change from the original as far as the amount of money. To appropriate $1,275 from within the trust fund, law enforcement trust fund, to send 3 officers to the hostage negotiation conference. It's held in Columbus, so there won't be the other fees typically we see with travel and expenses. And then the late addition was to send Sergeant Reen to it's a instructor school to hone his skills. He starts this year with the new Alice training for the schools, and this will enhance his instructor skills.
For what is it?
It's an instructor's school.
For what?
Overall instruction, but
Instruction for
Teaching someone how to instruct.
Yes,
I'm
yeah,
quite aware, but what, you know.
No, not instruct a specific thing. Teaching someone how to instruct.
how to be an instructor.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
really just to enhance his credentials that he already has. And it was $450, and I wanted to add because he was going to go on his own dime, and he even took vacation to go to the school because he knew that we didn't budget anything for the year for training. But I talked to him today about it. I apparently, when he requested the school, I didn't realize he was going to pay for it. And I said, no, you're not going to pay for it. So the trust fund money is certainly.
Well, if he wants to pay for it, don't make him mad.
No, Norman never gets mad. I wish he would sometimes, but he doesn't.
Sergeant Reed.
Right. So anyway, that's, I already heeded that one? Okay. Well, then I lost it. Here it is. Or did I give you the wrong one? Before.
This is the one for the 3 officers and the instructors.
I need
Okay.
the one for the door.
Okay. There's the one for the door.
Thank you.
I don't think we're caught up, except that I have one more. Last but not least, a request to appropriate from within the capital improvement fund $4,460 to replace carpeting certain rooms and areas of the police department. Now, the mayor got to see photographs of the aftermath. The sergeants and the lieutenant volunteered to take up the carpet to help save some money, and we were sold a second class, well, not even, I wouldn't even say a second class, a piece of crap padding with the original carpet. That's the original carpet when this building was built that we're talking about. It had disintegrated into a fine dust, and so they spent hours taking it up, vacuuming, dusting, because it created a small dust storm inside. And we're convinced that some of the people with respiratory problems over there, it may be attributable to the dirt and the dust that lies beneath that thin piece of carpet in the floor. That's all.
So this is to carpet. The old carpet's already been removed.
The old carpet's already
This
been
is to
removed.
install it now.
It's to install where the officer's break room is, or patrol room as we call it. And in front of Karen's desk, we're actually going to cut out the old carpet and then put some trim tack down an aisleway because there's tile underneath it. So there's no real carpet replacement there.
You've already got an estimate on.
Yeah, and it's attached. We even have a little schematic here of
Who's the vendor?
Right Rug.
Down the street.
They're the same ones that put the tile in a few years ago.
Is there other carpet
Is it-
in
yeah.
that hole in the?
Yes, my office and the lieutenant's office.
And probably this whole side of the building.
Yeah, it's all the same age.
Yeah.
This has been replaced once, hasn't it?
I have no idea. It
Seems like. I
doesn't
can't
look
remember
like
what new
it's
carpeting in there.
certainly not new.
At one time.
It doesn't look new, does it?
No.
Okay. Just I remember.
You're on Broad,
Just
can't
the
you
one
replace
estimate.
that over there?
Yeah, because we've used them before and had as many as 3 or 4 vendors come in, and they've always interlocal.
I want to say a couple years ago, John Groff contacted right through.
Right.
They came in. We were considering the whole building, and the price tag on it was I couldn't see us spending the money at that time.
It was
on
around
that.
9,000, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Any questions?
So do we have, obviously we'll need to keep a better eye on the padding that's installed underneath, because
This is
wasn't it
commercial
our
grade.
understanding that the padding that we were supposed to have was probably different than the padding that actually was installed?
Yes. Yes, we're quite sure. Okay, what are you giggling about? I gotta ask. You're envisioning something.
We've already done our
I've got
competitive bidding background, so.
If you're,
Yeah, let's blow the threshold.
If you're happy with that,
Well, when a vendor takes care of you over the years, but we've farmed it out before for multiple bids.
okay.
Business one's old tiebreakers.
That's all I have. Thank you very much.
You wanna give us any reports or anything on tires or anything?
No, I have to change tires and brakes so often, I wouldn't wanna bore you.
No.
No, we're
Talk
talking
about the story that was in
we're
the
talking
ad.
about the 17 tires.
Oh,
Over
the
in
slash tire.
Yes.
No, I have nothing to report other than what you read in the newspaper.
Was it close to being right?
What's that?
Was it close to being right? Their report?
What?
The newspaper?
No, there was more. You mean the number of tires?
No,
Was their
sometimes the
reporting
advocate
accurate?
doesn't always get things right.
I did not read the Advocate. I was away at a race over the weekend, so I didn't read the Advocate's take on things. I just read the report in the press release.
Chief, I'd had a conversation, it was either last week or the end of the previous week, with Tammy from Heathwood Village. And I was not aware of this, and I'm not sure whether or not our department was aware of this, but they have a neighborhood watch program that I'm not sure how many meetings that they've had, and I think maybe they're holding them monthly or whatever, but I mean, I know I wasn't aware that they have a program. I'm not sure.
And, I just now found out.
Yeah, so, I think,
Talked about that in a,
Blockwise?
sometime there was an announcement, they were gonna have a neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
And also that they were hiring a,
yeah,
Duty officer. They did.
Yeah, they've hired special duty patrols. There may have been in the past multiple attempts at a neighborhood watch.
There were.
Tammy told me,
these are the new
at least
owners,
for the
right?
time being, they got some traction.
What's her name? Tammy?
Keen's.
Yeah, Keen, is it?
Keen's.
Keen's, Keans?
Yes.
So anyway, I would say maybe let's have Norm reach out to her.
Yeah, they apparently went solo.
Yeah. I told her that I, would be certainly willing to attend one of them. Let's maybe look to get a few of the neighborhood watch signs made up if Norm thinks that it's, an active organization,
Right.
so that they can post them around. But yeah, when I saw that story, it kind of made me wonder.
Yeah, I didn't see the story, so.
I didn't see the story either. I heard about it.
It's on the Advocate's website, I think, right now.
I haven't looked at the website though, so tires slashed and what else?
That was essentially, it was about 17 cars, and we had some more reports today. Some other ones. Reported.
Any time frame wise, and I mean, and tying that in your bicycle, your bicycle patrol, I know limited, but that, if I recall, was supposed to be so they could sneak up on the bad guys and all that. I mean, is that something that would be beneficial in that neighborhood, especially riding the bicycle versus looking for a cruiser? You may be able to catch bad guys in the act.
Yeah, we've tried with a special duty officer. I don't have enough officers to put a bicycle.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we don't have the manpower to
understand.
have a.
But
But they were hiring
I'm not sure I
special duty, and then to put them on
Yeah.
a bicycle, you could.
last year, we tried different modes. We used the covert vehicle, we used foot patrols, bicycle,
And a regular patrol.
and a regular patrol car, yeah.
A rascal with a spray can.
Yeah.
Patrolling.
So have Norm get a
I
hold
will.
of her, and let's see how we can assist.
I didn't even read it. I don't even know what today's paper, yesterday's paper, Sunday's paper.
For us, the fireworks went off without a hitch, as usual.
I thought, you know, it was slower getting the cars out of the park, but I think, you know, John Groff is of the opinion that that's probably the most people we've had in the park ever for the event.
Right.
And also we had two EMS emergencies, one that happened over at Dick's Sporting Goods, and then one that actually was in the park itself with that. And I think, Chief, you happened to be with that, the one that was in the park.
Yes, boy having a
Happened in the
seizure.
park. I
Yeah.
saw it
It was a boy having a seizure, yeah. But I thought it was, I think the way that we have that mapped out works fantastic. Sending them up one, down the other, turn left, turn right, and then having Swainford available like that is what allowed us to get the squad back, to the park.
And we held up all the outgoing, from the time we called for a squad, we held all outgoing.
What time was traffic?
Right at the end, well,
This
right
was about
after.
10:30, quarter to
Yeah.
11 maybe.
Yeah, it already.
Because I was at Jay's there on Cynthia, and I thought the traffic was coming out just real nice.
And earlier, we got that fire truck out there. It was called out right about
Yeah.
4:30 or so.
Yeah.
5 o'clock.
And both of our EMS units were tied up out in the city, and we had a report of a fire over at Hot Lots. So I went ahead and sent the engine out of the park.
And they got out there.
Got out of there quick. I'll tell you, I took the ATV down Claren earlier in the evening, and with parking on both sides of the roadway and stuff, if we needed to get a fire truck over on Claren, I don't think we
I don't
could.
think you could have got it trucked down through there.
I don't think so.
I don't.
No.
I mean, it just,
'Cause
with
those
them
cars-
parking on both sides
I
of the
went down
roadway
through
and
there
such,
when I left.
that always concerns me. It just, I'd
Yeah.
rather
Coming
park
in,
it,
people
allow
People
parking
coming
on
where-
one side of the roadway, and if you
People were
park,
coming where, you know, kind of
gotta
didn't know
park
let
in the
somebody
yard.
go, then you go.
Oh,
it just
boy.
keeps enough of that
That
road.
road was the same way. When they park on both sides, you dig no way.
Now, why Swainford
You
is the
can
way
even
it
get
is?
that road to squat down.
What's that?
As emergency access.
Yeah, that's I think that's why it's great to have Swainford closed.
Yep.
Is
Swainford
that
closed just for emergency.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Swainford should be closed just for emergency vehicles, just for that
You could have
very
sent the
reason,
truck
right?
down the street.
That's what I
Yeah.
understood.
But I'm just, if we had a structure fire or something on Claren,
Oh, yeah.
getting an engine, I mean, all those roads need to be accessible for one of the big trucks.
It's one big party.
Because that little Polaris doesn't play. That's kind of a stacked deck when you pull up at a house fire with your 60 gallons of water and your super soaker.
yeah.
Okay, so, finished with that, we'll start the fire at, 5.
Very good. June statistics. For the month of June, 36 fire, 206. We're down a little bit on the fire calls compared to last year, as you can see. EMS calls down a little bit, but up overall for the year. The 977 versus 929. Transports down a little bit compared to last year, and down by 2 runs over this time last year. Mutual aids 39 given, 15 received. You can see we gave Newark City 28 calls to receiving 11 back. Hebron Fire Company, we had area evac in one time and such. So it's still at least, what is that, about 2.2 to 1. Legislation, nothing currently. Overtime, of course, 2012, that was a 3-pay period versus this June, 64, 5, 49, 42. Overtime down a little bit compared to last year, and down a couple $1,000 compared to about 1,600 compared to last year. It's still 109, 348.64. Under equipment, we're still waiting on pieces, parts. Engine 2 is in service, but because those are a custom-built truck and the exhaust systems are custom-built, some of the components have to be custom-made or whatever, so we're still waiting on pieces, parts. Louver motor replacement. Station 1, the exhaust system that was required has little electric motors that open large louvers when the exhaust system kicks on, so you don't fold the building up like a pop can or whatever. There are big louvers that open up. Well, a couple of those motors are bad, and we got price quotes, and they were $980 per little motor. I found them for about $680 elsewhere or whatever, so I've got one order to make sure it works. 2 of them were bad. I was going to get a spare because we're utilizing about 6 of those things, so eventually there'll be some. But anyway, going to try to do it as cheap as possible, and I do have one ordered right now that should function. But I even took it to Dave's Electric to see if they could possibly rebuild, and he has no way and knows nothing about them, nor even where to get replacements. So
You have it on order?
yeah, I've got it.
$680?
680 plus shipping.
Okay.
And one of our local heating cooling places is going to take care of that. So that's what that's about, and hopefully it's expensive, but it's all automatically done when the garage doors open up. The system kicks on exhaust fans and transmissions and such. Personnel, we've just had some unusual, Spellman. He's complaining now of carpal tunnel. So he's going to check into
After
that.
he lifted what,
After
750
lifting-
pounds?
Yeah, but so I don't know if he's serious or not, but I believe he is. But Jamie Bunn just finally over the weekend passed a kidney stone.
Yay.
Took him about 2 weeks, and I saw it today. Oh my God.
Oh. Move on.
Yeah, really. Jamie Bunn. So yeah, he's been off, and his doctor let him go through
What he did.
what he did for as long as he did. But so he was off for an extended period. Brian Hoffman's father-in-law has gone home now, but he had surgery for a brain tumor and all that. So he's kind of in and out of the house, and sometimes they have to babysit him. Spellman's little boy has been going to the doctor and getting ready. He was born with a cleft palate, whatever, and he's had several surgeries and getting ready to have some more. So he's going to be in and out. So it just those unexpected things that you just can't plan for, whatever. But under training. We've got air evac coming in October. Going to do PALS, and that's pediatric advanced life support. It's something we do every couple of years, required to have and such. And by having air evac do it, that's going to save us a couple $1,000s compared to the way we used to do it.
Are they coming here, or are we going up there?
They are coming here,
Okay.
and we've got 2 different days.
Is it
20
Operation
29th
St.
and 30th.
Louisville?
that is the operation out of St. Louisville, but they're coming, and we'll be utilizing them throughout the year. About once a month come in, and they always get free training. There's a certain amount of cost to the PALs because of the textbooks and the cards and all that, but they do it, when we used to pay $2,000 for a class, they do it for like $400, so it's a substantial savings.
We got quite a bit of space in that room, you know, where the workout equipment is, so next to the workout equipment. And Hebron's fire station now, they've got, it seems like they got tons of room in there, at least in that one area where the kitchen was. Do we ever notify other departments in the area to see if they want to participate in training like this? Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Do we get asked if we would like to participate in other places?
Yeah.
Okay.
When New York City does something, many times.
Excuse me.
Oh, you looking at me or something?
Looking at that spider ring.
That was my only friend.
Charlotte's wedding.
I'm sorry, little buddy.
He was coming down to rest on your shoulder, huh?
It thinks life support. But yeah, we do. We open it up as well as some of the surrounding departments. We're always getting flyers. I go up once a month. Myself, Roger Weimer, Jay Lori. We go up to St. Louisville. Air Evac has a class up there once a month and take advantage of that. Earl Miller is gone. I mean, it's available. It's free, and they feed everybody every month, which is really good.
A draw.
There's a priority.
Yeah, well, yeah, and they really do some nice meals. Jim Glover is very hospitable. So anyway, PALs, and then we've got a schedule actually for the rest of the year, training wise, and just some of the stuff I just thought I'd mention. Different guys have taken the task of doing this, but we're going to be doing some hands-on down here in the Creek River Rescue, and good golly, we got little creeks here, but there are times when the water's swift, and we have pulled people out of vehicles down, stranded down on top of their pickup trucks and stuff. So River Rescue, the third week marathon, we're going up and walk through the marathon.
You've done the river rescue, or you're planning on doing it?
This is something that we will be doing this month.
Okay.
River Rescue.
Frankly, I hope that we don't get as much rain as we have had, so it might make it a little bit tougher for you to get that in. But
Surprise! Yeah, you need a little bit of water. Right?
Yeah.
I mean that stretch.
yeah, we've had enough rain.
But touring the marathon plant and loading racks and things, and of course, kind of setting up or discussing pre-planning in the event of a fire and such. Working with them, and then the end of the month we'll be doing some Coslow and Ralph Swick will be teaching extrication with semi-truck, some trailers, the large stuff up here at Jay's again. So that ought to be interesting too. At the end of the month.
So all this is
in the month of July, and we've got.
Are these on Wednesdays
These
where
are
we
on
have
Wednesday
volunteers
nights where we
there
have
too?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we try to do each shift. We do a training for just the shift on Tuesdays, Wednesday nights with the volunteers. They get the same training, and then Thursday. That way, all three shifts get it. But and anybody that missed a Wednesday night can come in on either Tuesday, Thursday, and get the same identical training. So doing that under old business, fire levy replacement of the rescue. We're a month later into that. I don't know whether anybody what the latest greatest. Are we gonna put the levy on? Try to increase the what?
I want to see what happens with House Bill 5. I mean, I think that's kind of what I told you. We've got to pick our spots when we, try to explain to the voters what revenue we need and why. And if the state is going to pull the amount of funding that they're looking to pull from us in House Bill 5, we need to wait until that shoe drops and
When-
find out what happens.
When will House Bill 5 show its ugly head?
Probably not before the end of the summer. The chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, I think smartly, and I hope he continues to take this approach, is wanting to fully vet each of the different aspects of it and have public meetings throughout the state. So despite some pushing from some in his own party to have the vote yesterday, he wants to make sure that everything in the bill is properly looked at and vetted and adjusted, and so I think it's going to be a lengthy process still. Nothing really has, for about the past month or so, nothing really has happened with it because they were focusing on the budget. Now that that's done, I think this summer they're planning more meetings, like I said, different ones around the state. So I would say maybe by the end of the summer, but I'm not sure.
See, the stuff has to be posted with the Board of Elections. Is it
I think it's October.
October?
August. Something.
Yeah, it's August.
Be 90 days.
I think, yeah, so it'd be early August.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that something that could be at least prepared and ready to be, if we wait till first week of August or whatever and then, rushing to get something, I mean, is that something that could be set up and get?
Well, Chief, what do we prepare? How much, what do we prepare? If we don't know what if we don't know what the need is, then we don't know what to ask for. If we don't know what to ask for, then we don't know what to prepare. Frankly, I don't see it being on November's ballot because I don't think House Bill 5 will get through the legislative process in time for us to know what the impact's going to be, or at least have an idea of what the impact's going to be. You're not going to know what it is until time passes and you see the effects of the change. But at least if the, and keep in mind too, we're only talking about the House. The Senate hasn't done anything on this. They're not going to do anything on this until the House has a version of this, because the Senate has really no initiative in this area going forward. So the legislation is going to come out of the House, then it's going to go to the Senate. Then I'm sure they'll probably kick it around, put their fingerprints on it or whatever, and reconcile the two, if they're able to reconcile the two before it would go to the governor.
Realistically, you're probably not gonna see anything till after November.
That might very well be the case. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't see this being on November's ballot because like I said, we can't
honestly ask the people to.
we can't go and then see the impacts on in House Bill 5 and then say, oh wait a minute, I know that we had this on the ballot, and then turn around and say, but guess what? Now we need that. And that's, to me, that's a recipe for failure.
Okay, I mean, for the record, we know, and then we've been 2 years, and we know that there's an issue with the fire truck, and I hope it holds together. And nobody gets hurt, and all that if the tank were to come out of it or whatever. So that's my concern right now.
I know that there's been, if something like that were to happen, there are options available on eBay or Gov Deals or whatever it is that's called for rescue trucks that are even cheaper than the $500,000 option that we got from, what was the company?
Rosenbauer was one
that's
that
right.
we were looking at. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
So I mean, that's in a pinch. If we needed to pivot and do something like that, we could look to do something like that.
Okay.
But I just, until we know what happens with this, because its impact could be so detrimental to the city, we need to understand what this legislature has in mind. And maybe it dies in the House, but I'd like to, I want to see what happens with it.
Well, I'm hopefully gonna stick around enough to bug you for the next 2 or 3 years, so I won't forget. That's a promise.
It's not gonna fail.
So anyway, I'm sorry.
You just wanna be on record.
I do, yeah, I just, that everybody is aware that there is a issues with the truck, and we've been talking a couple of years and such. So anyway, that being said, under old business, we'll be doing some ladder testing and pump testing this month to bring in the testing company out of based out, where was it, Strara, or out of Kaiser Aluminum, this end of the building. They do
Oh.
non-destructive testing, that's required annually.
Miss Strauss.
Miss Strauss.
Miss Strauss. Yes.
So anyway, they'll be coming in, and then Cos and I will be doing the 15th. We'll be doing pump testing up at the tech center. Under new business, of course, I mentioned at the council meeting, we've got our $85,000 grant. $4,250 of that will come out of my budget for the 95.5 balance of that, and it'll be put towards the purchase of air packs. We also received $6,945 from the Shriner Club, something that we applied for, and they contacted us, and that will be spent on EMS equipment. So this was a pretty good month for us, as far as, $90,000
Yeah.
in monies. Something that I think we've talked about it in past tense, but do a little research. More and more we are getting, besides me, in our city, we're getting very large patients that we've had to deal with.
What are you looking at me for?
I'm not Dick. I'm looking right through you. No, we had, it is nothing to have 500 to 700 pound patients in our city.
Seriously,
Seriously.
700 pounds?
700 pounds. We have dealt with them over at the Heath nursing
How do you
home.
deal with that?
We recently
Extreme difficulty.
dealt with a 500 plus in a cardiac arrest situation.
Huh?
We've got them different parts of the city, and when we do, it takes our entire crew. It took 8 people. We called a nurse rescue to get one out of an apartment. This has been ongoing for years, but and they usually don't fare well, and they don't live a long life. But we're just not. We don't have the equipment, nor the manpower. But you have to do the best you can. And I just, part of this
Is that
educate
equipment
you.
that gets somebody onto a gurney that's that big?
The gurneys, the gurneys that we currently have, when you put somebody that weighs 500 pounds on it, it's designed to handle that kind of weight, but they spread out so big
over the
that
sides.
you don't have access to. So we have a large tarp that we end up putting them on and get as many people around it as we can, and then we pull the hardware out of the squad, and we literally have to slide them in on the floor of the squad, and that's how we work on them and transport them. The nursing home, Heath Nursing Home, has had patients like that over the years. We used to get calls, and I kind of put a stop to it, where they would call courtesy and they just send a couple people that they needed to transport. They wanted us to supplement the manpower, and it's like, I'm not gonna blow one of the guys' backs out.
Yeah.
You know, if they're getting called and they were getting, this was before we started doing EMS billing, but if, you know, they're getting paid to do this, they need to send additional people. So we work those bugs out, but I'm talking different areas of the city. We currently have very large people that we have to deal with. Some of the issues are when they're down and they require being carried out. As I said, they're so wide, you can't get them through conventional doorways. And back in Jeff Penrose's day or whatever, we had pre-planned, we had a very large patient that we were literally gonna chainsaw the front of the apartment out, and he was gonna get the front loader. I'm serious, this is, because there's no other way. We had a gentleman that had on Green Valley that in the back bedroom was so large, very nice man. I really enjoyed it. He's since passed due to his weight. But the family and I had meetings about if we ever had to get him out, maybe having to get a crane and take him out through the back window with some sort of a crane because of the design of the apartment that he lived in. And these are just some of the barriers that we have to deal with in hallways and doors and such. When you lay these people flat and they're that heavy, they spread out over the width of this table. They would be hanging out on both sides, and you just can't get enough people around them. If you have to bring them down a flight of steps, whatever, it's just.
Years ago, a gentleman died down on East Main Street, and he'd been in that apartment upstairs there for I don't know how many years. And they used a piano case and a crane and knocked the windows, knocked 2 windows and part of the building out to get him out of there. And went in there with a crane and lifted him and brought him.
But these are just some of the things that we do have to deal with at times. And I'm part of it, as I said, I'm just telling you, I don't know how this would play if some of our apartments, if we literally had to chainsaw the front of the apartment out, is that something that, you know, are they gonna come back and want the city to pay for something like that? But I am going to at least research a little bit and see if there's any way. Some of our larger patients, Courtesy has a bariatric squad, and it literally has a winch and hand wheel rails that come out, and you winch the litter, and it pulls the litter up into the squad. And we have utilized that before on runs over to the nursing home. Sometimes it's not available.
Yeah.
In the case one day we called for it and they only could send one person, so we had to provide all the manpower, but at least it helped us get a very large individual to the hospital. But this is something I don't know whether if there's monies, I'm going to check on it and
see if there are some grants,
because it's not getting any better.
Yeah.
And we're seeing more and more of this out in the community.
Massive obesity.
I'm sorry.
Just massive obesity. 700.
There was 2.
Are you looking at?
There was 2 people in Kroger the other day, or the evening when I was over there. There's somebody else they couldn't even get through.
He was looking at you when he said that.
You guys running last.
But anyway, it's just something I wanted to bring that to your attention. It's, you know, you can chuckle about it or whatever, but it is a problem that quite often it is. And I mean, but it's just, we're dealing with it quite often. So anyway, I'm gonna check on that and see if there's anything else.
Does our EMS billing, the legislation, if we have to do crazy things like literally chainsaw a doorway, are there?
Yeah, they're shaking his head. To my knowledge, that has.
We don't even address that kind of
No.
extraordinary expense
I don't think so.
in conjunction with
I don't think so.
It's based on
Might
the
wanna-
amount of activity done and
Yeah,
mileage
depending
versus.
on the level of care and how
Yeah,
far you're
You gotta
transporting,
go to
that
that
kind of thing.
level, we gotta be covered as a.
Yeah, there's nothing, there's no
Not to
accounting for
my
anything
knowledge,
like
I'll
that.
check with Eileen on that. See if there's anything else, but, that.
I wonder if Medicare or Medicaid let you charge for anything like that.
That's a good question too.
I don't even know.
If we have that many cases, we probably ought to explore some amendments to.
You know, Johnstown is just now, they're getting ready, which is Monroe County, purchasing some sort of system, and they make an electric cot that lifts and all that, but I just, a lot of times these people have got, like the nursing home, they've got lifts and things where they can move them from the bed to whatever, but I just know, I was at the nursing home, a year or so ago, and dealing with at the time it was a 700-pound person, and just trying to get them on a litter and all that off the bed. It was just it just took their staff, our staff, and it was just awful. I don't know whether that person is. I'm sorry.
They're on one level.
They're on one level. They've got double doors going out, and pretty much what we called the courtesy unit, and literally with a winch pulled them up into the back of the school.
We need a law
But
director.
anyway,
I think our law director needs to take a look at some of the,
yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to really damage private property.
We do it in police work, we're immune, we're immune.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean.
Does it
I
fall-
I had a
on
SWAT
fire,
team
they
for
try to
3
take down,
years.
Does it fall
does
under
that
emergency
fall under the fire
activity
department
too?
too?
Yeah, we've had to, we've had to take doors out of their casing and ram doors out of apartments.
Okay.
They're on their own.
You've never had to do
No.
that. Yeah.
If you had a fire, you might go in
Fire,
and
you-
chop down everything and you're not liable, so.
Right.
So I'd say that anything that you'd have to do would be in the line of your duty, that we would be probably protected.
The law director
Under
could.
the law.
look at
That's a law director.
It's a good question.
Should confirm whatever. Cyber immunity or whatever.
Yeah, he's got other.
So under other, two things, one that isn't on yours, of course, you read about, I had to laugh about the article in New York City and how they prepared for their disasters and all. Did you read that in the last week or whatever? But they were talking about fuel for the fire departments and how they, this and that. Well, they got fuel for their fire trucks after we made a phone call to them and sent them out to Licking Township that night, and you got a hold of Carpenter, and it took them a couple days to get things, but anyway, we need to, who is your representative for the disaster? Are you still the disaster? Who's the disaster?
There's various disasters in this room right now.
Well, I think this would be a good time while we're in between disasters, but we need to review and tweak our disaster plans for
Well, wasn't
especially
county EMA, has anything more happened from was the county EMA gonna reevaluate things after the derecho last summer?
No, I think they came out with a final report.
But okay, so no changes or no other, okay.
Ready for anything till it happens.
Disaster plan.
I'm sorry?
We need to review our day.
I think we really need to sit down, we need to find out why there aren't generators down at Duke and Duchess, because.
They just poured a pad to put it.
I was gonna say, yeah, remember we had that conversation.
Yeah, they have a generator now.
Right, okay, well, good, because that, long time coming, they promised that early on, but I think we need to tweak our stuff a little bit better for
Okay,
that stuff, so that's something,
we can do that.
whoever the council member is, 4 of us need to sit down and do that.
Okay.
And then, as I mentioned, and the mayor included on the agenda, that I
I don't know that everybody got that updated agenda. I'm looking at Jeff's, it doesn't have
Well,
anything underneath
it was on the original one, he gave us another one.
Oh.
I passed it
Oh,
here. I
okay,
brought some.
okay.
One in the
Just-
mailbox,
I plan
one in
on-
your box has it on
It
it.
was there.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
hoping to
Oh, I don't get that.
retire the end of the month and then be rehired back.
Chief
So
and I
you're
had a
stuck with
conversation last week. The terms that we discussed are similar to what we had done for John Geller and Bob Geller. Linda Richards' situation was a little bit different, given that she wasn't a department head, and that she was going to part-time after the rehire as opposed to full-time. I have a meeting scheduled with Civil Service Commission on Thursday to ask them to waive Civil Service Rule 150 and 80.4. Yeah, it is. Which would allow for the retirement and then rehirement the next day of Chief Huggins. I think that it would not only save the city some money, he would take a $5 per hour pay cut, which again is consistent with what John did. His vacation would go from 5 to 3. His longevity starts out, goes back to 0.
It's about a $20,000.
Yeah, it's somewhere around in there.
Saves the city about 20.
I think as we continue to explore the possibility of a fire district in this area, I think to me it makes sense to have Chief Huggins remain as our chief during that period. I think he can provide information and background to those who are going to be hopefully doing a study on this. And also, I think everybody in the area would know that Chief Huggins isn't looking to be the chief of that district for the next 10 years or so, which gives, I think, his opinion some credibility. He doesn't have an ankle, he's not trying to better his own situation by any input that he might be providing. So anyway, I'm gonna ask Civil Service to make those waivers so that I can go down that path.
So just to reiterate, I'm gonna remind you people for the next 2-3, if it goes through, about this pumper. So anyway, any questions? That's all I have.
Anything else?
Hey Chief,
Yes, sir.
I didn't say anything to you about this because I know you've put a lot of time into this already, but I didn't know if you were aware of the fact that Hebron was hosting the meeting tonight about fire district, and I think the county auditor, Mr. Smith, is going to be there to kind of talk levies and like what happens if you have a district and the levy passes, then what happens to the levies that you already have, and those kind of things. I mean, if you're interested in going
What
down,
time is that?
It's at 7.
Okay.
If you're interested in going down, but I didn't bother you with it because I know you've put a lot of time into this already and is on your own time, and
Oh, no, I'm here till 8, 9 o'clock tonight anyways.
Okay,
Very good.
all right,
I'll go out and see what he's got to say.
yeah, we can ride down together.
Okay.
You have some princess wave.
2 questions. First, for the police chief, if I didn't do it then, how's Jay's impound lot working out?
Perfect,
Perfect.
just like anticipated.
Okay, good. And then the second question is for probably the mayor more than either one. The thing we voted on to have that kind of reverse 911 or the phone thing and everything, where does that stand at?
We're still working on implementing it. We went through training in June, and then I was on vacation, and then Bob was on vacation, and then Jenna was on vacation. So no, we're still in the process of implementing that.
Okay, I just didn't know whether it got lost in the shuffle or what happened
No.
and everything, because
No.
the whole idea was, when Bob talked about it, it's like, oh, we could use it to contact the people at the pool and all this kind of stuff, and the pool season's going to be over before it ever gets enacted. And
It probably will.
and everything, and we hurried it through so we could have the weather stuff and everything and then free, and it's like we're going to lose out in half the year, 3/4 of the year before we have that. So
Did
I
you
didn't
buy
know,
it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have it licensed.
Okay.
I just wondered.
Easy to figure out the weather forecast.
And we're
You don't mean it's
you're
only
gonna be able
one
to
day.
utilize that in
Correct.
a lot of different areas, right?
Yeah, oh,
Specialty
absolutely.
teams and.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's good.
We'll be able to, utilize it not just for the public, but also for city employees too.
Did you have a question?
No, I don't have a question.
Okay.
Can I present something though?
Present something?
Yeah.
Is it a check?
Well, no, but you might like it.
That's
Yesterday was his 10th anniversary, I guess, but I have been working with the chief on different things, so I was here to take their picture Tuesday.
Isn't that nice?
So this is the group before they went on duty Tuesday. So that's
Wow, that looks.
Oh, thank you, Becky.
You're welcome.
We'll put that in its proper place.
It's not. It's a cheapo frame, but it does the point.
No,
So
it looks wonderful. Thank you.
Pretty neat.
That's neater than me.
Good work, Rick.
Who's that good-looking guy standing in the center?
I'm going to say, before you forget who they are, you need to put a number key and write down everyone's names, because it won't be too long. People go, what was that guy's name? And you won't remember,
Brooches,
I'm
brooches
glad
in
you used
there?
the one with the shades.
yeah, I think I still have them in the van.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.